When I spit bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan.
Let's thinking of the game that would have been. We've got two teams in pretty different scenarios. We've got a team that's been together for about 5-6 years now, Marco. Feels like it's coming potentially to the end of your cycle. Potentially, we'll talk a bit more about that. We've got a Chelsea team who are at the beginning of a new cycle, the Graham Potter cycle. Let's start with Chelsea. Let's start with you, Babs. So obviously, since we last podded, you guys have a new manager. Who did you draw to in midweek?
Sparta Prague or something like that.
Salzburg.
Yeah, it's not a stellar side, basically. And then you lost the first group game as well, right? Word. So, firstly, your thoughts on the outgoing manager, Thomas Tuchel, Champions League winner, much loved by some members of Chelsea Hour. And then your thoughts on the incoming manager, first game, expectations. So, it's going to be a meaty part of the pod here. So it's all on you, Babs.
It's all on me. I don't know why you're putting all this pressure, but we're here now. Yeah, I feel like it was a long time coming. I feel like
a long time coming.
I feel like
Wow.
it was a long time coming,
Where did you finish last season? Third?
Yeah, we finished third.
You finished third.
You got to remember it was a bit of a rocky finish as well.
But you're comfy third, no?
We were comfy third, but I don't think you remember. Remember how long you guys? I remember you in January. You were like, we're gonna get something out of Chelsea. I remember it. I remember you were thinking, okay, maybe we're gonna fill out top four. I remember a lot of rival fans were saying that. So it was a very rocky finish to the season as it was. But not just that, the way we were playing, the manager falling out with players, people just not being happy around the club. So when you have a new ownership, I feel like they're gonna want to make their own imprint on the club as is. So any excuse you're gonna give them to get rid of you, they're gonna take it, And
do you think that was a good enough excuse?
I think it was a brilliant excuse. I wish it was earlier, personally. That's what I really wish for.
Okay, so let's get into this, because I think you guys, Thomas Tuchel, the performance of your player, the expectations of Chelsea have been a pertinent and much discussed topic on this pod, regardless of which members of Chelsea have come on. So you agree with them getting rid of him, despite him bringing in a bunch of new players, despite acclimatizing, despite kind of, I think, comfortably establishing yourself as the third best team in the country. You'd probably say you've got the third best squad, right?
Yeah, maybe.
No,
So
you do still.
I think you'd probably say you've comfortably got the third best squad. So
Maybe
what
even
were the
second
particular areas that made you want to see him go?
I just didn't like him. I'm not gonna lie.
But what do you mean as a man?
As a guy, I just
'Cause
didn't-
that's
I just didn't
a
like
big
him.
that's
I
a
just
big
didn't
thing
like
to
him.
say.
I'm gonna be honest. Like from the first get go of him coming in, the way he treated Tammy, I didn't like that. The Cho double sub, I didn't like that. The man management, I didn't like that. Calling up the way he treated players, I didn't like that. The way he built squads, I didn't like that as well. Like, you can't have a squad that big whereby you have six, seven, 8 attackers, and all of them want to play. And he said when he first came in, this is exactly how he wants to be. He wants multiple players, but it's like no one's going to be happy. And when that happens, people are going to start getting angry. Things are going to be going on in the back room, and when certain players aren't performing well and others aren't getting chances potentially, people aren't going to be happy. And even that, when I what is my management, a report came out, at the beginning of the season, he basically split the players into guys that wanted to stay here and fight for Chelsea.
Oh, wow.
And guys who wanted to leave. Start of this season, bro. Start of this season. Tell me why it came out that part of the players that didn't want to stay here and didn't want to fight started some of the first games. And the guys...
Was it because of injuries?
No, it wasn't because of injuries. And guys who actually wanted to stay and fight weren't allowed. So I just can imagine players are probably thinking, what's going on? What's going on?
Wow.
Here?
Okay.
It's not a good look. And I don't know, when you treat players like that, I don't know, man. I don't really like that. And it's interesting because I know a lot of people be like, oh, you're not gonna get a better manager than this. You're not gonna do this. You're not gonna do that. But my thing has always been this, right? No matter how good of a manager you are, no matter how good your tactics are, if the players don't buy into it, you ain't gonna do shit.
People management.
Exactly.
People management is at the core of the job. That's interesting what you said in regards to the exercise he did with the players. My thing kind of just basically was from the perspective that if he's lost the dressing room, he has to go.
Yeah, agreed.
Even if you don't feel like he's had enough time or whatever the case may be, if he's lost the dressing room and the players are not buying in, then he has to go. It's
time to go.
It's time to go. And a lot of the things that were coming out post game from him in regards to the players and not getting a tune out of them, that's the vibe that was coming out. He's like, I think after that loss against Zagreb, his post game comments were pretty sharp, if I remember correctly. And I kind of, ooh, this is not good. When managers start coming out with this kind of stuff, the writing, not looking good, bro. the writing's on the wall, right? And like you said, new ownership. He's clearly ambitious. Yeah. Any success you have with Tuchel, that will be Roman's guy, and da. He wants a fresh, clean slate. He wants to have his own guy in there, and it seems like he wants to really build something with Chelsea. He's talking about owning multiple football clubs and building up a football group a la Red Bull.
We're talking about the Rock Nation of of Premier League clubs. We're trying to do big things out here, man. Hey, don't worry, Sam. You're gonna get a cut. That's our last next sponsorship. Don't worry, next season we're gonna do
you're getting a young drink out of that, yeah.
I can see that smile on Sammy's face now. I can see that smile on Sammy's face now.
Like I said, he's good with it. Cool. So that's the outgoing manager, and that's the kind of reasons behind why he left. Let's move on to the new guy, Graham Potter. He, before joining, was pretty much the people's favorite, essentially.
The people's champ.
Manager who came up the hard way via the Norwegian league, Swedish league. Even he was coaching at Leeds Met for a time, technical director of Ghana's women's team. So he really went to
man of the culture.
Yeah, he fourth.
Lewis is talking about Ghana, but hey, listen, man, our guy here, he's really put in the grind. He's
been to Accra. He's been to Accra. Yeah, it's not just beads. It's not just beads with Graham Potter.
He's not just native attire. He's actually been.
He's out in the field. He's out in the field, literally. So it happened very, very quickly. Like it was kind of like he was linked. I think you had slight links with Pochettino as well. Small links. Was there anybody else that was linked?
Boy, I don't know, man. I was only focused on Potter.
Potter, and then literally within 24, 36 hours, it was all
smooth operation. Get him in quick. We knew what Brighton wanted.
Yes, boom, bye, yeah.
Like, and not just that, but there was a lot of build up with it as well. So, like, with the Cucurella deal,
what was the cost on it, by the way?
That doesn't really matter to me.
No, I just want to confirm.
Okay, that's an interesting point. So, not just what is the cost on it, but what are you lot's thoughts around transfer fees around managers? So we know a lot of times, like we talk about how key managers are to the whole operation. You can have the same group of players, but what Pep will get out of them, or Klopp, or Ten Hag, or Arteta, or Potter will greatly differ, and how they use those players and the success therein will greatly differ from manager to manager. I know Chelsea, you guys paid to get who did you previously pay to get out of their contract?
Us.
Or somebody else you paid for as well. I think you're the ones who played that big fees for managers a couple of times, obviously, and then you paid for Potter. What do you guys think about there being transfer fees around managers as well?
No, I hear it, man. If you're gonna take a great manager from
winning
my
compensation,
club, yeah, fam, give me compensation, man. Run me my please,
feed the
man.
family, yeah.
Yeah, like you can't take
everybody go eat, man.
that good.
I hear you. Brighton, they've been eating though. They're really enjoying life at the moment.
Trust me.
Cool. So you're a Potter fan, so you're happy he's come in. What are your expectations for him this season? What do you think he can do with these players? And what sort of patience and time do you think he's going to be given by ownership and leadership, I guess?
So I think there's going to be a lot of patience from ownership, just purely because this is their first guy. This is their first imprint on the club. And not just that, but a lot actually went into getting him to the club. So when we were actually signing Cucurella, a lot of discussion were actually happening about the manager as well.
Oh, wow.
So they were asked about the manager, his man management style, I don't know if you guys know, but he done like a degree in like people management and all that kind of stuff.
I saw that.
Yeah, so he's very understanding. So they wanted to know a bit more because obviously when you're going from one guy who's he's a bit of like a
colder
cold, shouting,
engineer,
abusing players on the
sideline.
sideline.
It works, so it doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly, man. You got it's like going from a terrorist, to
a terrorist.
To
wow,
a noble priest.
Yeah,
prize winner.
You call him a noble priest.
A noble. What's it? Is it Nobel Peace Prize? What's one
of them?
Oh,
the Nobel Peace Prize winner. Yeah.
It's like going from that to
wow.
that. So
okay.
Wow. Obviously, they got their guy in. They're ready to back him now. And when you actually think about it, a lot of these players that were signed, I know people that are acclimatizing to Tuchel, etc. But these are players that can play multiple systems. So like for Fofana, he's not exactly wedded to one system under one management. Same for Cucurella, he's a flexible player. He's played left centre back, he's played left back, he's played left wing back, all within 1.5 seasons for Brighton. So you do see that these players are actually quite useful. Even Sterling, he can play across the front line. He can play as a touchline where you play on the inside. So these aren't players that. These aren't players that are just wedded to These aren't players that are just wedded to one system whereby they're all fitted to Tuchel, and even like Aubameyang. So that one you can kind of say that that's like Tuchel's guy, but I think there was a thing of like the board. They were also for the signing, so it's not exactly like these are all guys that can only play for Tuchel. These are top professionals. So the manager should be able to do stuff because we've already seen what Graham Potter's been able to do at Brighton, with lesser players. you know, with the likes of Danny Welbeck, you know, all these other guys. So if you could do that with them, I'm expecting that you can actually, you know, put his imprint of football at a top level side. And not just that, but I know a lot of people also say this thing like, you know, but moving from a mid-table, you know, to the top table, you know, you've got all these egos. But when you look at Chelsea, who are the egos? Kante. Like, who are really these guys?
Hello, manager. I'm Kante. I want a new contract.
Like, who really are the egos? But yeah, as I say, like, who really are these egos? You know, like, I don't think it's ego.
Yeah, I think Mason got a bit of an ego on him.
Listen,
Frank Lampard Jr.
Listen, man, he can try all he wants, but it ain't gonna run. Like, at the end of the day,
You know what's gonna kill me is if Potter falls in love with him.
of course he's gonna fall in love with him. Of course, how can you blame him? A quality player, but even on that, you know, like I feel like the only way that kind of stuff will happen is if like he's fallen out with the players. And from what we've read about him, you know, but his man management skills, you know, his people skills, his understanding of people and different personalities, I don't really see that happening personally. So going on to expectations, I feel like a big part of it was also be seeing like his football coming in to the club. Because I do feel like these owners are actually going to want to see, you know, actual good football on the pitch.
Do you know what good football is, though?
They must. Like, they're gonna have people that are gonna be able to like be like the in between, the middleman.
Okay,
you know,
but at the moment you don't have a sporting director, right? It's both.
We don't have one yet. So
Anyone linked?
they are. So we were linked to Luis Campos, who was ruled out.
He's at PSG, of course.
Yeah,
he's got a war chest and he's got ownership that will back him.
And even with him, he's not actually the sporting director. He's kind of like a consultant. So like, he can kind of do his thing.
A Ralph Ragnick sort of.
Yeah, but a good one.
A well done one. Yeah,
a well done one.
Yeah.
So even then, you know, we've also been linked to the Salzburg sporting director, which makes sense because obviously, you know, with the Red Bull organization and what Bowley wants to do, you know, owning multiple clubs. You know, that could be another potential one. We've also been linked to Paul Mitchell at Monaco.
Okay, yeah.
Who previously worked with Pochettino at Spurs.
Big reputation, Paul Mitchell
Very
has.
big reputation. I don't really know much about these guys.
I wouldn't expect you to.
What do you mean you wouldn't expect me to?
I mean, you're a football fan and you're a sporting director fan. What's your top 3 sporting directors? Like, you watched a beautiful game and the board level stuff
what are you saying? Name the top 3 singles.
Exactly. All the sporting director stuff is, to a certain extent, beyond them. You just look at the clubs who are well run. You can see that they clearly have a plan and they execute.
Yeah,
and then you ask the question in regards to who's behind that. You know, so you might have a guy who, I think Mitchell was at Southampton earlier. So
yeah, he was at Southampton.
Exactly. So you watch, it's kind of like, okay, you've been able to achieve this level of club. Does that scale up? If we give you more money, if we give you more resources, will you be able to be more successful? Or is your style specifically tailored to like a underground sort of club who's like a competitor sort of thing? So I'm sure you guys will take your time and you'll again have like outside consultants to come in and
there's
help
so many
them.
because like even the Atletico Madrid guy will link to him.
Okay.
At Liverpool and Michael Edwards will link to him as well. You
Yeah,
know,
has he done anything? Has he actually got a club close to Liverpool, Michael
No,
Edwards?
he wants to have a year off still.
Okay, but that's not a bad shout, to be honest with you. Yeah,
I don't know if he'll go out of respect for Liverpool. But
here we go.
I know you're hurting,
Here we go again. Overrating how much
you
people
gotta let
care.
it go, Marco,
Overrating how much people care in business.
Yeah, man.
You lot didn't pay him.
Hey, listen,
You lot didn't pay my man.
we'll pay him double.
I don't know what happened around his leaving. I guess someone like Farhi would be able to enlighten us on that. But boy, I think he just wanted to have a bit of a move on. I think working with FSG is very stressful in itself, innit? So
Yeah.
I saw an
Take some
article
downtime,
about him to Man United.
Boy. He's
he's
slutting himself out right now, man.
You like it, I love it. Seth. You like it, I love it.
You're saying he's loyal, but he's looking at your rival.
you know,
he's looking
you
at
know,
Chelsea.
Of course.
you'll be blessed to have him still. He's a very good
Yeah, again,
director still.
like, the thing is, I saw a quote from Dalot the other day, yeah, and he's like, we have an opportunity to be remembered as the players that bring Manchester United back. And
Who does this guy think he is?
just a guy. But essentially,
Proud and passionate, man.
some people will see a challenge and run and say, I just want an easy life. I just want a 9 to 5, boom, bye, come and do my job. Other people will rate themselves and back themselves and say, you know what, I want to come in and I want to actually come into a club that's an absolute mess and have an
make it a
opportunity to
madness.
fix everything, you know? That's kind of, in most jobs, that's where you tend to learn the most, where things are a mess. And then you're having to pick up all the different skills and apply yourself. So we'll see who you go with. What are your expectations for Chelsea this season? Where do you think you should be finishing with this level of coach, with this quality of players, which are levels above beyond what he's worked with before? coach who knows the league well. He's had a bit more time because obviously the Queen passing, and then we've had some international football. I mean, games have been postponed. It is what it is. There's no need to lie or mince our words in that regard.
You've added a lot of points to your questions.
So, what are your explanations? No, I'm giving you context.
I know you're giving me context.
Yeah,
I know,
so
I know.
it's not.
I'm just processing it, you know.
Oh, good. Computer processing stuff.
Yeah, man.
So, what are your expectations for Graham Potter this season?
So first and foremost, I want to see his brand of football being implemented. That's like the priority.
Yep.
Second, I don't know if you guys remember, but early on in the season, we spoke about expectations. Yeah. I said I'm looking at us being in the top 5 to top 6 race.
Okay.
That's what I'm expecting.
Okay.
Just of our squad.
Okay.
Whoa.
Now,
Just
what
off your
you talking about?
squad.
Whoa.
Sebi,
off your squad.
You were sat right there. I was sat right there. You didn't say whoa then, all right? So, I don't want to hear it now. You didn't say it then.
But you didn't break the record then.
But we did. We
You
did.
broke the record
we did.
now.
We did. We have
Nah,
spent all that
I
money
ain't
then.
been on the pod since you broke the record.
Bro,
So
you've
broke
been on the pod.
I ain't been on the pod since you broke the
Bro,
record.
I promise you. Because it was at the point,
I ain't
after
been on the
we
main
signed
pods.
Koulibaly, and we were
I ain't
linked.
been on the main pod since then.
We want to remember the same last time, and I'm telling you right now,
I weren't there.
You know what? I will input the audio
Please do.
around this point. I'll input it.
Please input the audio, but
I'll do it.
breaking the record that you're saying top 5, top 6.
Top 5, top 6.
You know you could be prosecuted for that.
I know, man. But hey, man, look, I've gotten away with worse. You know, hey.